Hey, hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on in. We are going to take a look at topic of love. Actually, I feel like we want to start with an oracle card. All right, sorry, I know I look a little weathered. I've been out in the weather. Let's just leave it at that. We have why. It's the first time I've ever seen this card pop up. Hey, hey, AC, good to see you, babe. We have message in a bottle. This is card 31 and card 15. Boy, this is poignant, huh? So, why? Why'd you close the book on us? Why, when this was a divine love? What this is like, I can't ask you that question directly, but I'll just cast it out into the ocean and hope maybe the universe gives me an answer, since maybe, or maybe somehow, some way, if I send this out to you energetically speaking, maybe you'll get this and maybe you'll decide to talk to me again. Maybe you'll decide to tell me why. Let's ask what the real question is that this character seems to be posing, because I don't know if that's it. That's just the first thought that came to my mind. Hi, everybody. So good to see you all. Nice to catch you. Okay, we have a Nine of Cups. We have a Queen of Swords. So we have very intelligent individual, possibly a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, feminine, um, who kind of wants to know, like, either did I not make you happy, or, why is it that this happened? Because God, it makes me really unhappy. What's the message in a bottle that she's casting out? This is about love, but maybe she's talking to the universe. Maybe she's not trying to talk to a person. Message in the bottle is a 10 of Cups in the reverse. So she is asking possibly the universe, why don't I get that? Why don't I get the energy? Oh, you guys are so cute. I will link the earrings and the necklace in uh the whatever you call it, in this video as soon as I'm done with the live, you guys. Um, yeah, I like this. This is a unique color. I like this one too. We have the Judgment card. So judgment is usually, where there is this resurrection of emotions. And I have to say, this is somebody who's been like dealing with a scenario, right? She's a Queen of Swords. She can make peace with stuff. She's intelligent. She, accepts things as they are. But she's also intelligent enough to say, even so, if I'm supposed to make peace with what happened, I also need to rationalize. I also need kind of a bit of an answer. Why was I not entitled to have this happiness? Or why did I meet someone if they weren't my happiness then? Why bring them into my life if they were only going to, be the exact wrong person for me? Universe, care to give me an answer on that? That Judgment card is like, what am I supposed to make peace with? What is it that I need to? I got the Emperor and the 10 of Swords. So she's saying, how is it that I thought he was my emperor, and then it just ends so completely? What, it wasn't the right time? Then why let me meet him at all? He was a wonderful person, but he's meant for somebody else, and why screw me over by letting me meet him and know that he's wonderful, but he doesn't want me? If we met, and it's like he's not ready for me yet, but someday he will be. Why don't you just wait till he's ready then? If he's so great, then why does it not work? If he's so great, why did it not work? Okay, you know what? I think that's totally a fair question. I can understand how she could also ask that without anger, but just with a Queen of Swords sideways, might have a little bit of a little bit of spice. But mostly, I kind of think that she has a right to ask that question. She's seeking the answer. And if we're going to pose a really decent and very like on the nose question, you may as well make it as blunt as possible. Queen of Swords is great at being blunt. That's why I like her so much, because she'll ask the tough question and she won't sugarcoat it, and she'll cut right to the heart of the matter. How come I had to not be happy then? If he's so great, why did it end? So let me ask you this though, Queen of Swords, do you think he was that great? Is that what this is really about? You love her, or you loved him, and it's like he was the person that I wanted, so how come it didn't work? Queen of Pentacles, Six of Cups. Yeah, in her mind, she was all in. This is a person she wanted to grow with. This is a person who felt like a soulmate. This is a person, maybe she talked about everything from like career, and we could build a business together, and gosh, we feel like we're so special together. And this is like, there had to have been some pretty significant conversation about future and about what she believed. She saw the future for sure. She could see what she would have given to this connection, and what was said anyway would be given back. So she's like, we both talked about this. Like it was as if we said that we both wanted this. So how come then it didn't work if two people were both so serious and they both really wanted this? Okay, is she, let me just ask, are you asking this of the universe or are you asking this of him? Because we do need to know that, because that's going to change things. Are you asking this of the emperor himself? Page of Pentacles, Five of Cups sideways. She always asks this in her heart space, right? Because there's a sadness. So sadness asks this. Grief asks this. Her emotions ask this. Okay, let me ask it again though. Are you asking the universe as you send this message in a bottle? King of Pentacles, Seven of Swords. Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit tricky. When I'm trying to define who is she talking to? Is this somebody, imploring the energy of the cosmos, or is this somebody who wants to send him this direct message? So her heart sends this message all the time. But interestingly enough, when she tries to talk to the universe, which she does that too, that's where she's not honest. I think that's very interesting. It almost hints that maybe she already knows the answer to this, even though in her grief, she keeps trying to send out this message like, why? But I think when she talks to the universe is like, are you really going to ask that question? You're holding on to this idea that he was the best person for you. Darling, why do you think he was the best person for you? You say that he was your emperor, but why weren't you looking for somebody that actually matched your vibe? You gave him the title of this, but you wanted to give to him like a Queen of Pentacles. Why didn't you say, I want to meet my King of Pentacles? Baby, you were asking for the wrong man. And you know this, and you're holding on to the wrong man and saying, why did I have to meet him when I could have been so happy with him? And it's like the universe says, sweetheart, you already know he wasn't the right man for you. This is the one. You need a King of Pentacles. You're lamenting somebody else that you gave an even better title to. But really, that's not true. He wasn't that man. And you do know it. It's interesting how her connection to the cosmos won't let her say something that isn't true. And really her connection to the cosmos is her, right? It's her own higher self. Her own higher self. Remember, this is the blessing and the curse of being a Queen of Wands, or excuse me, a Queen of Swords. She's going to be harsh and truthful even with herself. She does know this. Her grief asks the question, why couldn't it have been him? Her higher self says, I know that it wasn't him. I know that it wasn't him. I'm just grieving the fact that I wish it had been him. So she's answering all of her own questions. She's pretty freaking fantastic. I mean, that's a powerful character. That is an amazingly powerful character who can actually land the plane in almost no cards at all. So she has these moments where she gets sad, I think. And that's where her heart just is like, why couldn't I have just, why couldn't he have been the person I could have stayed with? We could have been so happy together. And then her higher self kicks in and goes, baby, you're lamenting the wrong guy. He wasn't the guy. And you do know this. And it's like, damn, yeah, I do know this. Okay, that's actually really powerful stuff. So if that's where you're at, and it's very understandable, right? Sometimes she has bad days. Sometimes she has sad days. Some days she has angry days, like everybody. She's a Queen of Swords sideways. She's got, powerful thoughts and, emotions as any queen does. And sometimes they get a little bit wonky when she's not feeling super happy. And then she kind of, feels that overwhelming grief. And that's where she starts to say, how come it didn't work? Why did I even have to meet him then? But I think that's still a valid question. So why did she meet him? And let's really turn to the universe now, because I don't think she has the answer to this. I mean, how could she? Why did she meet him? Why did she have to meet him at all? What was the purpose behind it? because there was a purpose, right? Hierophant, Five of Wands. It was to get her to evaluate. It was to get her, I mean, this is like, so actually, I think this is hilarious. Her higher self is what I imagine my higher self probably looks like this huge gremlin troll creature that lives like underground and has like a funny tinfoil hat on. That's probably what my higher self looks like too. I don't know why that amuses me to think that, we think of our higher selves as these light beings, and I'm like, I don't think mine looks like that at all. This I probably roly-poly trolley. That's my higher self. But I like this because this, it delights me. It's ridiculous and funny, but it also says that meeting him was a good thing, right? And no, he didn't turn out to be the right person, but it got her thinking about exactly what we already saw, right? When she talks to the cosmos, which is her connection to her own higher self, she knows darn well she's lying to herself a little bit. Who she needed to call in, who she needed to match with, who she should be wanting to attract is that awesome King of Pentacles, somebody so matched in her energy, somebody not an illusion, she wants somebody like very real, somebody maybe even a little bit rugged, somebody a little bit more grounded, somebody that is like they got roots in a location. I think this person is way more realistic for what she's genuinely seeking. And if she hadn't met this kind of illusion where she said, I mean, come on, this guy is hot as hell, right? He's got the look, right? He looks like I mean, I don't really go for this type myself. He's a little too perfect, but hey, we can still say he's a beautiful person, right? He looks like a movie star. He looks like all those things, right? So we can say aesthetically, he's perfect. But who is he on the inside? I mean, he sits here in the model's posture. He looks really awesome. Maybe it's like he looked like an emperor. He looked like he was so great. I'm not saying even that he was oh so attractive. I'm saying, sometimes we meet somebody and they're like the full package, and then that package is the illusion. Like maybe he had this great job, and maybe he, was respected in his community, and maybe he was, well spoken and blah blah blah, knew how to like package himself so that everybody would be like, oh, he's a real catch. But you know what? Sometimes just because somebody looks like a great package, there can be a lot missing. There can be a lot missing. It's like nothing is so disappointing than I'll use cake because I really enjoy cake and it's my birth month. So I'm thinking about cake. But nothing is so disappointing as you see a pretty decorated cake and you go to eat it and it's disgusting. And it's like, oh my God, they spent all this time to decorate it. And the recipe was foul. Like, what a waste of ingredients. What a waste of, you don't want to eat it. It looks pretty on the outside, but you may as well just have, a styrofoam prop because there's nothing else there. And I'm not saying he was an empty person. I'm just saying that although she may have said, oh, but I thought he was supposed to be my perfect person, maybe he was a prop and she didn't know it. And maybe meeting somebody, having it not work out, was enough to get her to do exactly this critical thinking that we see her doing now. Why didn't it work? So she's no longer just saying, why? I want him back. Why am I so lonely? Why did this not work out? Why did I have to have my heart broken? Maybe we're morphing into a question of, why didn't it work out? What was it that was missing? What is it that I would really match with? Because now we're thinking that this Five of Wands is, I know it's the battle of the orcs. So this is kind of like, this is a tough, like churning over and evaluating in her mind. But what is it that she really wants? Not even like, what did he not have? It's maybe the better question is, why didn't it work? What was missing that I'm actually seeking in a partner? What is it that made this whole situation not work? So when we ask, what was the purpose of him crossing paths with her at all? It was to get her to think about this. And for an intelligent Queen of Swords to still have even more to learn about what she truly wants in a partner, he represented like we'll say he was like the catalyst for her to start really evaluating this. And maybe she never really thought, Ten of Pentacles, maybe she never really thought that deeply about the the minutia and the details of what would my 10 of Pentacles really look like. Maybe she's realizing something new about herself. I think it's interesting that she's a Queen of Pentacles who deep down wants to match with a King of Pentacles. At least that's what her higher self is pointing out. Maybe she thought she was looking for a different partner than she actually is, and that's why it didn't work out, because he wasn't really the one for her, like the true, we'll say, substance of her own soul. I mean, this is a very earthy card. Maybe one of the most valuable things now she recognizes is the most important trait is, I want somebody that is family oriented. I want somebody that cares so much it would truly put family first above, anything else. That's really what I'm looking for. Maybe she's looking for somebody that she could consider, like, I could see them being a wonderful, like, mother or father to my child, even if she's beyond child rearing days. Maybe it's like, they always say, if you want to know how much you really trust somebody or what level they're at in your life, consider, would you like leave a puppy with them? Would you let them babysit your puppy? Do you trust somebody? Do you believe that they are somebody that has that much caring and nurturing in them, that they would protect your puppy? Would you leave your puppy for an hour? Would you leave your puppy for a weekend? Would you, give your puppy to someone if you couldn't take care of your puppy, knowing that they would do so and they would be wonderful? If the answer to any of those are no, then probably they're not your partner, because you wouldn't trust them with something, fragile and delicate. So I'm thinking that this is the way her mind is working, only we're putting it in the context of like family. Could I see them being kind to my elderly grandparents? I want a partner that would be that way. Not superficially kind and polite, but somebody who would, really care about them. Are they somebody that I know has depth of feeling? I think this is what she's really looking for. And maybe she had never, like, sometimes we go, okay, on our checklist, we want somebody who's like driven, or we want somebody who's got, whatever it is that maybe before she's like, oh, I want somebody I can travel with. I want somebody with a good sense of humor, and those are all, great things if that's what she's seeking. But I think for this story, for this feminine, this is the deeper, more important. Who cares what somebody's job is? Are they nice to my family? Who cares what degree they have? Are they somebody that I know would, protect our kittens and our puppies and our babies? And, are they that person? Are they family oriented? If this is what she was really seeking in a partner, I can see why deep down she's a Queen of Pentacles who needs to match with a King of Pentacles. Not a beautifully packaged, but possibly, somebody who appears to be an emperor, because there's nothing here that says he really was an emperor. She wanted him to be her forever person, but all of this keeps hinting that this was like, look, an emperor is fabulous, and an emperor is all four kings rolled into one, but we don't actually see this having worked out, and we don't see him necessarily as an emperor. We see her lamenting the idea that how come if he was such an emperor, I didn't end up with him. Can I just ask, what's his story? Because don't you think we should ask just a little bit about him, to be fair? Okay. We have got Knight of Wands, Seven of Wands. He was no emperor. The lover, he was a freaking knight. So he was all about nice packaging, right? And I don't mean that with the double entendre, okay? I know. I should have used other wording on that. Look, he appeared as an emperor when really he was very suave and very maybe adept at flirtation and very good at fending off any real questions and keeping things seemingly, like, I'm picturing somebody like not a hair out of place, knows how to like move a conversation so that it always keeps it to be, like very exciting, very, I'm picturing somebody who was excellent at dating, excellent at making somebody feel like they're on the best date of their life, excellent at keeping the conversation, sexy and, staying hyper focused on each other, but possibly never getting to any deeper conversation, fending off any conversation that would get just a little under the surface. Okay. You have to be very skilled at that. that means you got to practice. That means that's what you put your energy into. That's not becoming an emperor. And at the same time, selling the image. We're soulmates. Bullshit. We got the justice card. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. But they know how to sell that image. So this is all about the packaging. It doesn't say that the emperor was, well, we can't call him an emperor. Now we know he's a knight, okay? A knight of wands. And this is by like his own admission. But I do think he was drawn to her. That part could have been legitimate, but there wasn't, there was still this image that he promoted as an emperor. Or maybe she gave him the title of emperor because he was so suave. Maybe this wasn't even his fault, but this says it was. Even he admits it because we got the justice card. This was unfair. He did lay it on like with a freaking trowel. This is somebody who wanted to look really amazing. This is somebody who wanted to come across as really amazing. This is somebody who wanted to come across as fabulous. It doesn't matter if these characters are masculine, feminine, or reverse gender roles, same sex, doesn't matter. We still are talking about two different characters, one of which she wanted to give him the title of emperor, but he admits, I'm very suave and I know how to steer a conversation and I know how to make somebody feel really, really good, really seen, feels like we're soulmates. And yes, I do that with intention. Now, he may have really felt a bond to her, though, to a certain extent. I don't know. How did you feel about her? King of Cups, there was a real bond there. There was something really sincere in this. Then why do you think things didn't work out with her? That's interesting. Love vibrations, unique to freak. Awesome. I love your new name change. We got the Page of Swords. Why didn't it work out? I don't know. Was she starting to pay way closer attention? She's a Queen of Swords. You can't really give a persona to a Queen of Swords. She's going to see through it. But he did have true emotions for her. But then it's like he either started to see something about her or he thought she was going to see too closely into him. Five of Swords. Something about like either he did not like an element of like her backbone. He definitely wanted to keep a blockage up. He wanted to keep, almost feels like somebody wanted a double life. And it's like, I really have emotions for her, but I don't want her to see the other half of my life. So there's only so much she's going to be allowed to know. I have real emotions for her, but I'm also a Knight of Wands. And she can't go looking too deeply into seeing my Knight of Wands behavior. I want her to look at me as a King of Cups, somebody that loves her. I've played the game, but now I actually did fall for her. But I need her to not keep digging into me. There's something here where maybe he wanted to change his ways. Maybe he wanted to change a behavior. Maybe he really wanted to become a King of Cups now. But I don't know. I'm picturing those 10 of Wands like a whole bunch of crap he wasn't very proud of all of a sudden in his past. A whole bunch of stuff he did not want her looking into. I don't know if this is who he used to be. I don't know if this is like, God, if she's going to start to see too much about who I've been. Queen of Wands, that doesn't look good because that's not her. That's somebody else. What do you mean you wanted to prevent her from looking too deeply? Were you already with somebody else? I mean, oftentimes that Knight of Wands is somebody who's cheating. Was he in another connection? And it's like, now I feel bad about this because I actually have fallen for her. Was he two-timing her the whole time? There's something here about, I don't know why we got him coming up as different people and a different Queen of Wands and some kind of 10 of Swords. I can't figure out if this is just like he didn't want something in his past to be revealed. It does feel like he was not being on the up and up, and then he kind of ended up falling for her. Two of Swords. He always wanted to keep her out of knowing this chapter of his life, even if this chapter of his life was over. Hang on, I'm going to pry just one more card here. What was the deal? Can I just see? Is it that you had somebody else when you first met her? Were you cheating basically when you first met her? And even if then you're like, oh crap, I really fell for her. I don't want her to know this, so she can't look too close into me because I really want to be a 10 of Cups, or excuse me, a King of Cups now. But damn, when I started things with her, I was not honest, and now she's going to find that out. And even if I'm ending things with somebody else now, she still can't find out. Six of Wands, Two of Pentacles. His image was very, very, very important to him. I need to look successful. I need to look powerful. I can't look like I was juggling. I definitely think this is the bigger reason why things didn't work out, is because there was some element here where it's like maybe he realized he was dealing with a real person. If he started out, maybe this started out as a fling for him, and he was going to be very suave, very debonair. He liked this was fun. He likes to be, somebody that people fall for, even if he already had some other relationship. But then he actually did fall for her. And now it's like, shit. Now she's going to find out that I am, and I almost feel like he felt crummy about his own behavior. And now it's not enough for him to stop being that way and do a little life overhaul, because she's still going to find out that there had to have been a crisscross of timelines or something here. He can't hide his, like, whatever behavior he was already displaying, even if now he would want to change it because he's met her, because I think he started out on the wrong foot with her. And obviously we got a lot of pride and ego. There's no way I can be found out to have been doing something that I know she would not like about me. I don't like this about me anymore. Okay, so let me just ask, how did this thing end from your perspective? Chariot sideways, like with the question mark of whether or not there was going to be any motion forward anymore. The Chariot, I mean, that could also be, do I run away or do I move toward her? You know what's crazy? It actually became important enough that he started to look at his own self as well, his higher self. Like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? I want to run away from somebody because I'm embarrassed of how I've behaved, because I actually fell for a great person. And now I got to look at my own behavior, and it's kind of garbage behavior. So that's embarrassing. God, I don't want to be embarrassed like this by my own self. So do I just run away from her? Geez, that's great. So now I'm somebody who cheats and runs away. It feels like this was all like huge amounts of embarrassment, but also like this coming to Jesus moment. Love vibrations. Thank you, Angel. You are so kind. Thank you so much. It just feels like really, it feels really like he's gone through a whole lot of thought process at this point. A whole lot of like evaluating himself, a whole lot of, trying to figure some things out. Because sometimes we have that awakening, that coming to Jesus moment where we're like, oh my God, this is who I've been behaving as. Sometimes love can, if we actually feel real emotions for somebody, and he did for her, all of a sudden it sheds a whole bunch of light on actions that we took when our heart wasn't in it, or when we were playing games or something, and it's embarrassing. We see ourselves through the eyes someone else would see us through, and then it's really it's really kind of tough to see. It's kind of tough to watch. Just a second here. I feel like this message is he's met his higher self as well because of this connection. Now, I don't know if maybe that's the other reason that they were supposed to meet. We've only looked at it from her lens. Why did they meet? Because she was the one asking the question, but let's ask it for him too. Universe, why did he meet her? Seven of Wands, and we have no justice up there. We see him maybe fighting and struggling. Remember when we saw the Seven of Wands before, it was with the kind of the player's card, right? With him, Knight of Wands, the kind of cheating energy. And I said it's kind of like somebody who's so suave and they can direct a conversation any direction that they want to. And when I say universe, why did he meet her? And Five of Wands is where we start to actually think about stuff. We think about why do I block anybody getting to know me? Why do I make sure that conversation never gets to go too deep? Why do I maybe pretend to be super suave and start relationships with other people on the side. What is it that I'm looking for? So meeting her made him start to certainly question, what is it about my own behavior? Oh my God, King of Pentacles. Remember, this, look, I kind of feel like this is a great story, and I kind of feel like this is a sad story, and I feel like this is super meaningful and super transformational, all rolled into one. And the reason I think it's both sad and great is that if meeting her made him have that like stark look in the mirror and made him realize this is really shitty, the way I behave, the way I do things, the way I play games, but then I slipped up and actually fell for her. When first I just wanted, to do my thing. I'm suave. I get people into bed. They want me. I feel superior or whatever this is. It's a fun game that I play. And then people get hooked on me because I'm so suave, and I manipulate and manage everything. I put the blockages where I want them. I herd people into the corrals I want them in. And I'm always the one who gets in and gets out, never gets my heart broken. And I feel fabulous because I always leave them wanting more. And they think of me as this, I'm the catch. I'm the one that got away. And really, she kind of felt a little like that, right? She did. But then he actually started to fall for her. He was not impervious to actually meeting somebody, and maybe it's because she was very sincere, and we saw that she said, I would have been all in. Like, I really pictured a life with him. And what's so crazy is that sincerity perhaps is actually maybe something that really touched him enough to make him start looking in the mirror, enough to make him start thinking, enough to make him actually consider, what the heck am I doing playing games with love? Why? What is it really? Like, what am I hiding from in the first place, right? Obviously, he does not want anybody to really get to know him, but there's probably more reasons for that than just the fact that he had some other scenario already. Because he's doing some deep dive, because he was starting to fantasize about what would it have been like to be in a relationship with somebody like this, where there was trust, where there was actually growth, where it was somebody who was like genuinely all in, who would have had my back and I would have had theirs. What would that have been like to actually be, her partner? It's interesting because it made him really start to think about something rooted and grounded and real, instead of this weird transitional game player lifestyle. The only thing is, if he already had some other relationship, which is what this hinted at, then you'd think, well, he already had something real and grounded and, something serious, right? Maybe not. Maybe they were ill-matched. Maybe this is surface. Maybe this is two very selfish people or something that have, normally a king and a queen upright are fantastic. So why is it making him so freaking miserable? And why are you out playing Knight of Wands games if you have a powerful connection back home? You know what I mean? Like, this, none of this quite adds up. So I don't know if his life has just been way shallow and it just didn't click for him until he met somebody that actually was sincerely all in. I can see if she was all in and it turns out she was messing with a game player without knowing it, I can see why she would want to know, why'd this even happen? Why'd I have to meet somebody that wasn't legit, wasn't real? But obviously, this has actually been very eye-opening for both of them. And maybe she wasn't discerning enough in like I said, those qualities that we already saw. It's like there's a part of her that just has recognized how much more earthy and rooted she really is, and how much more she wants somebody very family oriented. That helped to bring that to the surface after meeting him. And then what's wild is meeting her has made him recognize that maybe the whole lifestyle, the whole persona he has cultivated is so wrong for who he really even wants to be. It just sucks though, because it's like he blew it with somebody that was really real. And it's like he figured out maybe a little late that, my God, it would have been amazing to be with somebody really real. It would have been amazing if I had been somebody really real, because we have too many cards of his embarrassment in this. Too many cards where he's embarrassed of his own behavior on this. We saw that 10 of Swords. We saw the 10 of Wands for him. We see this heaviness. We see him not wanting to continue to behave the way he's been behaving. So there is something that he's even outgrowing. What's the final message on all of this? Because we can see a lot of growth here. We have Judgment and we have the Five of Pentacles. So it's definitely a wonderful time to alleviate some of this hurt. Because number one, for what it's worth, there was, I mean, he did fall for her. She definitely fell for him. No, this was not somebody who was like, he hadn't found his like identity. But meeting her has perhaps helped him to start to grow. If there's anything to make peace with, it's that, look, there has been like a loss on this, right? With the Five of Pentacles, we could say, well, that's a damn shame. Why do some lessons in life have to be, you know, like you don't learn it till after you've already lost something fabulous? And it's like, well, sometimes that is the way a lesson is learned. You know, you learn through mistakes way more than through successes. And it would be fine if it's like, oh, I learned, you know, how not to make one of those recipes that you kind of already guessed, you know, the food influencers that have you make disgusting recipes and you taste it and you go, nobody would eat this. Why did you make me waste all of my ingredients on a disgusting recipe? You know, and it's like, okay, once bitten, twice shy. I've learned I don't follow their recipes anymore. They have terrible recipes. Even if it looks good, it is not, it's not good at all. You know, there are lessons where we do invest some and we lose the ingredients, we lose the money and the time that we invested, but we walk away with a lesson. And with this Four of Wands and the Four of Cups, I mean, I know this isn't like a big consolation. It's just, there is something really beautiful in the sense that, look, he misses the hell out of her. He's very much aware that he blew it with somebody really special. But she's also in this place where maybe she's figured out a little bit more, because this is a card of, you know, illusions, and this is a card of marriage, and who does she really want to marry? What are the components? And I almost think if she had known beforehand what were the most valuable attributes that she was looking for in a partner, she might have screened him right out of the gate. As soon as she went on date one, and he was so adept at moving conversation away from anything more serious, more real. If she had seen the way he treated other people, or saw that he didn't really seem very like interested in getting to know like things about her family, or didn't, you know, there were just maybe conversational topics that he steered away from, that might have been a red flag for her. Because now we know she's like, I really am looking for somebody way more grounded, way more earthy, way more family oriented. I want somebody like that. So she has better screening techniques now, so she doesn't wind up falling for somebody that she imagines has all the qualities she wants, when in fact she forgot to screen for the most important things. It'd be like if we're hiring somebody for a job and they come in for the interview, and let's say the job is, we need them to be a driver. And we ask them 10, 15 different questions, but we never ask them, do you know how to drive? That's a kind of a critical component of what the job is. So we got to make sure that they can drive. And then maybe we also need to know like what kind of a driver they are. But those are important questions. Get to the core of what you're looking for and make sure you talk about those things. And if the person wants to dodge answering that question, we're not going to hire that person. I asked them if they could drive, and they're like, oh, driving is a wonderful thing that people enjoy. Okay, I asked you directly, can you drive? Many people drive. That's not an answer. Like I feel like she'll be better at asking direct questions and screening better. And I don't know. I mean, I have to say, as much as he may be recognizing that he blew it with somebody, and he's feeling like he blew it with her, somebody that he actually really did fall for, maybe at some point he will try to course correct this. The Judgment card is, I mean, it's either asking forgiveness for starting out as a game player, or perhaps this is just making peace with it himself, or trying to reconcile with her. I don't know. That could go a lot of different ways, but it does look like there have been significant lessons learned. So none of this was wasted energy. None of it was wasted time. none of it was wasted anything. A hard message for sure, but definitely it just took time for this lesson to come through. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm going to scroll back. AC, thank you again. The Light, Amani, Tammy Johnson, Shay, Queen Ditch, so delighted you made it. Sue and Liz, hi. Ginger Montague, always great to catch you, love. Hi, Catherine. Annette Summersby, wonderful to see you. Hi, Des. Pammer, awesome to see you. April Fresh, hi, honey. AC, that sounds adorable. Rebecca, how are you, love? Spiritual Serenity. Nancy, thank you for the hearts, love. Hi, Jem. Rosie, thank you. So good to see you, Rosie. I know, Pamela, I'm delighted to see you in a live. It's been a hot minute. Slay Princess. Hey, Dana. Hi, Nick. Rage is Magic. Awesome to see you. Wendy E. Courtney Walsh. Thank you again so much. Unique to Freak, love vibrations. Thank you, hun. We need so much more of that. That is so awesome. I love that. Oh, that's so awesome. I did not know that. Love Vibrations. That's the name of your radio station playing 60s, 70s, and 80s soul love songs. Oh my God, were those not some of the greatest eras for soul love songs? I mean, oh, you know me and the Manhattans, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Oh my gosh. My Otis Redding, like, oh, there is such great, like, heart-wrenching. Although I have to say, some of the hair bands also, they had great lyrics. I'll be there for you. These 5 words, I swear to you. I mean, there's a lot of great love songs out there, but soul music, oh yeah. Hi, Raina. RT, hi, sweetheart. Wendy Parker, hey, hey. Dancing Moon, wonderful to see you. Vivian Hun, how are you? I hear you, Pammer. Victoria Rose Noir, hi. Totally, RS. Okay, SLHOGID. SLH, is that Slogid? Forgive me if I just botched your name, honey. I'm so sorry. Ginger. Thanks, hon. Hi, Deshaun. Yes, completely, RS. You're spot on. Small TV, hi. Dwayne Anderson's in the house. Nice to catch you. Deshaun, thank you. Alana Williams. Thank you, Alana. Violet, hey, honey. Oh, Ginger Montague, thank you, babe. You're so generous. Thank you, honey. AC? Are you razzing our Violet? Oh, God, you guys are adorable. Sweet. Hi, honey. How are you? Oh, I love that. It's little Aaron Neville popping in. I love that. Seriously, Ginger Montague, you said that everyone has a dog, a horse, or a pig or something named Ginger. You know, I have met a lot of people with animals named Katie, and I always thought that was funny. Dana Knight, thanks you. Thanks so much, hun. And again, great to see you, Amani. Q Miller, hey, hey. Aries is miserable with summer. My dog hates the heat. Australian dog, but they have, uh, so blue healers have two coats of fur, right? An external and like an internal layer, if you will. And that double fur is, oh, he's so hot. He hates the heat. And he looks at me like, Mama, can you turn off the sun now? And I'm like, I can't, baby. He is like just splat most of the day. He's just like, I just want to be in the grass if we're outside in the shade, or he'll come trotting and tell me that he'd like to come in and cool down. If if I'm indoors, he's pretty much always wherever I am, but it's pretty funny. He's hating the summer. He doesn't enjoy that. I know, RS. That's why I thought it was funny. I used to think people were punking me because there was like a couple year stretch where, like, I swear every third person I met had like a dog or a hamster or somebody named Katie. And I was like, that just doesn't seem, that's like naming, like a cat Stuart or something. It's not a name that I would typically associate with an animal. But yeah. Oh, yes. Nova is super popular. And Luna, that's another really popular name for pets, it seems like. Jennifer, hi, honey. How are you? Pamela, you had one? Yeah, there's a lot of codas too, I notice. Coda, Luna, Nova. Um, I know that they say like shorter syllable names are better for pets because they can hear it faster, easier, better. So it's a good thing I didn't have Aries wasn't Sagittarius, huh? Sagittarius. That would have been hilarious. Capricorn. I thought he might be a Taurus, and I figured I would probably call him Toto or something. Rosie. Yes. Bella. Yes. Oh, so you've met some Katie pets too. Yeah. You're right, though. Bella is really common. It seems like a lot of horses are named Bella. Seriously, Amani, that's wonderful. You know a dog named Jimothy? I love that. Oh my God. I absolutely love that. That's adorable. Oh, yes. Q Miller, Kai. That's really common too. Really common. Our the blue healer that I was raised with was Matilda, and that was such a perfect name for Matilda. And she was the boss of me for most of my childhood. But AC, yours is named Ka? Kai. That's awesome. I love that. I RS, he looks like such a little buffalo, so I call him Tatanka quite frequently. And plus, I just like the feel of that word, and I loved Dances with Wolves, so I can't help it. Oh, Pamela, that's adorable. Your blue healer was Junebug. Oh, Victoria Rose Noir. Kind means egg in Thailand. I had no idea. That's awesome. We had a very striped cat named Tora because it means tiger in Japanese. Um, we've had we had a lot of cats, in my life, and so our cats always tend to get names based off their behaviors, though. Like we had Webster because he used to sleep on the dictionary. We had Cow because obviously Cow looked like a cow. We had Monkey because Monkey was really good in the trees. And now we have Indy, or Indiana, because he's the most adventurous. And then we have Fezzik because he's the biggest. And Fezzik was the giant in Princess Bride. And then Cleo because her eyes are really unique and look like Cleopatra. So, we all got to find our names for our pets, right? Yes, sweet, exactly. Yeah, you can tell that, we got some 80s film references going on for our cats. Oh, love vibration. I love that. Your pet's name was Thunder. I've never heard that before. That's beautiful. I love that. Jennifer had a cat named Lillian Daphne Grace. I love the fact that you gave your cat 3 names. Aries has a middle name. His middle name is Thelonious. I even have like he has my last name, of course, but it's Aries Thelonious, and then with my last name. Thundercats, yes. Wendy E, you live with Allie. Very nice. Oh, Hilda for a big German Shepherd. I love that. Nick, you have a 15-year-old pug named Earl. Oh my God, that's adorable. I love that. A pug named Earl. I don't know why. That's just the cutest thing ever. Rosie, you had a fish named Frederick. My little brother, when we were very young, he didn't know very many people at that time, and somebody that my mom worked for was named Bob, and then like the only girl that we knew at that time, because he hadn't started school yet, was Rachel. So he got goldfish. They were named Bob and Rachel. You have Lucy, cattle puppa dog. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Millie Moo Moo, I love that. Millie Ginger Montague, that's adorable. You guys are so fun. I love that. I love that we're all such animal lovers on this channel too. I mean, it's called Tarot Dog, of course, but still, it's really sweet. AC, funny story. Before this live, hang on, my mom just turned 50. Happy birthday to her! And I've been talking to her all this week. When she saw this notification, I had a Freudian slip, and I said, "Mom's going live." That's awesome. Happy birthday to your mommy. AC, your next will be called Simba. That's awesome. Tuna the cat, Crystal Cassidy. I love that. Pammer, your little Chihuahua Frenchie is named Miss Ruby. An official title, Miss Ruby. Very nice. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful evening. It's so nice to hang out with you guys. Thank you again, Love Vibrations. Keep rocking the slow jams. Hopefully a little Millie Jackson mixed in. Ginger, thank you again, love. Annette Summers B. Oh my gosh, you have 6 pets, and all their names start with a B. Bear, Bo, Bess, Bella. I love that. Wendy, she's a calico. We all rescued each other in an alley in Oklahoma. Oh, I love that. Victoria Rose Noir, your black cat is Mr. Mia Ouija? Or Miyagi? Mia Wiggy? Sorry if I'm botching it, but I love it. Good night, Pammer. You guys are so awesome. Lots of love, Rosie. Love vibrations. Thank you. Sweet. Thanks, honey. That's what I was thinking, Mr. Miyagi. Dana Knight. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Night, everybody. I'm going to bounce over to the other channel. I wanted to still get Aries and Ophiuchus out tonight because they got cheated yesterday. So if you guys are up late, feel free to hang with me over there. Otherwise, sweet dreams, everybody. Q Miller. I've been very sassy. Mean Big Sister Kate or Auntie Kate has been on a tear lately, I'll tell you. Family, likewise. Thanks for being here. All right, you guys. Sweet dreams. Bye, guys.